Hello, my name is Asad Ahmed. I'm a solicitor at Oman & Co Solicitors, and I'm giving this video in relation to immigration authorities' attendance at business premises. I'm recently being asked quite a few questions from business owners about the power of immigration officers when they attend business premises. Hopefully by the end of this video you'll have a slightly better understanding of their powers and also what your rights are. Before I go on to actually talking about the specific powers of an immigration officer, I think it's worth mentioning that one of the best things an employer can do to protect their position is to make sure that they keep an adequate record of the staff that they employ. It's very important that you're able to show that you have records of your staff and the fact that they're allowed to live and work in the United Kingdom. That means when you employ anybody, you make sure you check their original documents to prove that they had the right to live and work in the UK. So you should look at their passports, you should look at any visa stamps or residence documents which they have. You should check them to make sure that they seem genuine. Are the names correct? Are the date of births correct? Are the expiry dates okay? If on looking at the original documents you're happy, you should then copy these documents and you should keep them in a central folder in your office. You should also review these documents, and I would suggest that they're reviewed every 6 months or so, because that way you show a continuous compliance with your duties. It may be that an employee that you currently have working for you has a temporary visa, so by carrying out 6 month reviews, it will ensure you don't miss any dates. A person's visa may be expiring or may have already expired, so you then have to make contact with your employee and ask him to provide you with new visa documents, or at least evidence to show that they've applied for an extension of their leave to remain. If you maintain accurate records, it puts you in a much stronger position if the immigration authorities do attend your premises. Again, if employers are not really too sure about how they maintain their records, they can seek advice from solicitors. Solicitors can review their records, and if their records are not good, they can suggest ways in which they can be made better. So let's turn to the issue of immigration officers and their attendance at business premises. The simple fact is that they can't actually attend and enter your premises unless they have a court warrant, a document known as an AD letter, or with your consent. So if anybody from the immigration authorities do turn up to your premises, you should ask them for evidence of any warrant or AD letter, and you should check the contents and perhaps keep a copy or take a photograph of it. If they don't have these documents, as I said, they can only enter the premises with your consent. If you're going to give them your consent, you must make sure that the consent is given by a person with appropriate authority. You should train your staff to make sure that if immigration authorities do come to the premises, they only speak to a manager or the owner. The owner and manager can then ask them about the purpose of the visit. Do they have any specific information about your business or any people that are working there which warrants their attendance to your premises? Sometimes immigration officers just come for the sake of it, and they hope that on being allowed entry into your premises, they will find the staff who is illegal. So if the immigration officers don't really give you any confirmed information and seem to have just turned up to your premises in the hope that they will find someone, you can refuse them entry. You can also be slightly more conciliatory with them. You can provide them with documents and records of your staff before allowing them in. You can ask them to come back an alternative date which is more convenient to you. You could even arrange to pass forward documents to them by post to show your staff are all legal. There is legislation which means that if you refuse to allow them in and they subsequently attend your premises with a court warrant and they find illegal staff in your premises, they can then fine you a higher amount because you failed to cooperate with them before when they attended your premises. Now that would be a concern to someone who perhaps is employing illegal staff, but if your records are all in order and you're confident that all your staff is legal, you don't have to be scared in letting them in because later on they may fine you more. If your staff are all legal, they will not fine you any amount of money and you can be quite confident to refuse them. So if you do allow them in, or if they attend your premises with a warrant, they do have the right to search any documents in relation to your staff to establish whether or not that staff member is legal or has the right to work. However, that doesn't mean they can randomly start searching any documents they like. They have to be reasonable, so you can ask them questions about why they are searching particular documents. Similarly, immigration officers can ask questions, but you have no force, you can't be forced to answer their questions. If you're not happy with their line of questions, you can simply say no comment. It may be worth you answering some questions because they should be able to establish a person's identity and address and where they come from. But if they start asking aggressive questions, or if they're asking questions which are really not to the point, you can refuse to answer them. You can also get advice from your solicitor. So if they do attend your offices or your place of work, a shop, you can phone a solicitor and you can ask for advice over the phone. So I hope this gives you a little bit more information in terms of your rights. Just as a brief recap, immigration authorities can only enter your premises with a warrant, an AD letter, both of which they have to show you before they enter, or with your consent. Don't be scared in giving your consent. They cannot force their way in. If they do enter the premises with your consent or with a warrant, they can ask you questions, but you don't have to answer them. They can search documents, but you should make sure that they don't carry out random searches of all of your documents. Their searches should be specific to their investigations. Thank you very much for your time. Bye-bye.